here. This is part 2 of my anorexia story. So where we left off was I'm at the eating disorder doctor, and the doctor tells me my heart and my organs are shutting down, and she tells me that I'm near death. So I was slowly dying. That's basically what eating disorders are, a slow suicide. I remember bawling at the doctor. I was angry with everyone. And I forgot to mention that throughout everything, I have terrible anger issues. Like, I'm yelling at everybody. I get mad when around food. I get, everyone knew not to talk to me when I was making food. Because I was angry. I was, upset. Everything was down. And at this point, I'm pushing everyone away. My friends, my family. I'm isolating myself. And it was really hard. Because the doctor looked at me, she's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I cannot argue with the eating disorder. But I can try to talk some sense into you. She basically was trying to tell me that I wasn't the evil the eating disorder was. She wasn't mad at me. She was mad at the eating disorder. She was trying to talk some sense into me so I could beat the eating disorder. I was really stubborn, and at that point she told me, you need to stop exercising, and we're putting you on a higher calorie diet to try to weight restore you. And that was literally the most terrifying thing I have ever experienced. And I know that a lot of people may think that weight restoration wouldn't be that scary, but when she said weight restore, through my head it flashed who I used to be and how people treated me when I was higher in weight and I didn't want to go back. And that's when I realized that I had been willing to kill myself for people to accept me. And that's not okay. And so I finally, the appointment took 3 hours. She told me that she tried to talk me through things, and I was crying, I was angry, I was frustrated, and I was mad at my mom, and I was mad at everyone. And so we get in the car and we go, and that night, it had been about 5-6 hours since I had eaten, and my stomach hurt so bad. And so we went to go get some food, and my mom and I were talking, and she's like, look, I know this is hard. And I was like, and I finally had calmed down, and I apologized for being angry at her. And, but I wasn't actually in recovery at this point. I had started recovery, but it wasn't real recovery, because throughout everything, I was still sneaking exercise. I was still finding ways to skimp, and it was not helpful. So I wasn't listening to them, because I was like, I know better than them, but I didn't know better than them. So at this point, I'm not exercising as much, but I'm still exercising a good bit. So over a little while, my weight started to go up. I started to, and that was really scary for me. It was really scary for me. I had such bad body image. I have body dysmorphia as well, and so I saw myself as fat even though I wasn't. And that was the hard thing. Everyone was trying to tell me, Melina, you're just not seeing things right. But the eating disorder takes over. It's like living with a parasite in your brain. They are taking over your thoughts, your actions, everything. So we go back for the appointment, and she tells me that we can introduce a little bit of movement. And that was exciting for me. Except I was already doing movement. And so they didn't change my eating or anything. So at that point, I had taken this liberty that they had given me. And, well, at the beginning of when they told me that I couldn't exercise, I wasn't really doing much exercise. I would sneak a day or two every couple weeks, but it wasn't, yeah. But, so after the second appointment, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to let you do some exercise or movement. And I was like, okay. And I took it and ran with it. The eating disorder took it and ran with it. And I was back to walking for hours. And I had been almost completely weight restored at that point. And it was really scary because my weight restoration kind of happened fast. And that was really frustrating for me. Because it made me think that I was just that old girl who everyone judged. And I wasn't. But I accidentally lost all of the weight that I had weight restored. And I went back to the doctor. And they were like, okay, what happened? And I was like, I admitted. At this point, I let go of my anger and started listening to the doctors and opening up to them. And I was like, look, I relapsed. And they're like, okay. We need to bring down your movement. And I was like, okay. And so, this is the point, like, that I want to say my real recovery started. When I started listening to the doctors and stopped being angry at them. And I stopped being mad. Yeah, I stopped being mad at them. And I started listening to them. And this brings us to right about now. And I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna say I'm doing pretty good. I'm at 3 days a week of movement. And my eating is it's going pretty good. I noticed that I have more fight in me, more energy, because I lost all my energy. That was one of the things that happened, is I lost my energy. I was so exhausted, and my heart was working way too hard. But I have a lot more energy, and I have a lot more energy to tell the eating disorder no. When it says skip this, I say no. I say no. I say no. And if I look at a piece of candy, I'm like, oh, I really want that. And then my eating disorder says, no, don't do it. I say, heck yeah, I'm going to do it. Just because you said no. Because that's what the recovery is. It's fighting against this eating disorder. Fighting against it. Telling it no. That's when the healing will begin, when you can eat freely. And I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. I'm still on the meal plan. Still trying to work with that. And stop overanalyzing everything I eat, because that is one thing that I have, is I overanalyze everything. I have to have I can't have cereal and crackers in the same day, because they're not, they're bagged. And I was like, what the fudge? That doesn't even make sense. So I'm working on that, because it's all these lies that the eating disorder told me, is I have to fight against them. And it's really hard. As you guys can see, I don't look extremely malnourished anymore, so I'm doing pretty good on the weight restoration thing. I will say, I'm going to be honest, one thing that really hasn't weight restored yet is my arms. So I'm waiting for that, which is very scary, because I want to be better, but at the same time it's scary to think about gaining weight and stuff like that. But, but yeah. So that's pretty much my story, guys. I mean, there are a few details here and there that maybe I forgot, but, I'd like to think that my story is one of someone who accidentally fell into the world. Because I used to be this really innocent child who loved life and didn't have to think about what she was eating, but she let people who called her fat and looked at her differently get to her. I guess she was kind of tired of people offering her sister clothes but wouldn't offer her clothes because they knew she couldn't fit into them. She was tired of people looking at her differently. And people treating her differently. Asking her, "Are you really hungry? Should you be eating that?" And her sisters were always the beautiful ones. But thin doesn't equal beautiful. But the world told me that that's what it was. So for my whole life, I looked at my sisters and wished that I could be like them. And then, I guess I kind of left this part out, but I guess I'll share it with you guys. I hope you guys don't judge me. When I was 13, I prayed to Heavenly Father, and I asked Him to give me an eating disorder. Because I wanted to be beautiful like my sisters. And then a year went by and nothing happened, and I was like, okay, that was a dumb request. You know, I don't want an eating disorder. And I'm not saying God gave me an eating disorder. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that sometimes the world makes eating disorders look like an amazing thing, but they're not. For the rest of my life, I might have to live with it in the back of my head. It's not some glamorous model thing. It's not some glamorous lifestyle. It's not a fad. It's a disease. I mean, it's a parasite in your brain. The eating disorder is an evil that you just want gone. You want to go to sleep and not dream about your fears. You want to go to sleep and wake up and you want it to be gone, but it's not. It's not some glamorous, amazing thing. It's not. It's not what the world makes it look like. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching my story. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. Feel free to follow my Instagram, my recovery journey Instagram. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my story. I will be posting more videos. Comment down below if you guys want like specific things that you want to see. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.